everyone, Antoinette here. Today I'm going to talk about 7 ways that you can elevate your presence in virtual meetings so that when you speak, people listen to you. Even when you're not speaking, you will appear confident and you will get more noticed rather than people just overlooking you in a meeting. Number 1, position your camera so that you are enlarging your presence. You want it to be close enough to you where you're actually perfectly framed in the little square on the screen, just like I am now, but far away enough to where they can see some of your hand motions as long as they are good, so that you're not so far up close that all they're seeing is a head, or so far back here where you look small and you can't even really be heard that well. And everybody that sees you is paying attention to everything that's behind you rather than you, the person. The second way that you can elevate your presence is by looking like you're happy to be at the meeting. Hey, you may not be happy to be at the meeting. If you're typical of most people in virtual meetings, they log on and they just look like statues. They're just sitting there staring with these blank looks on their faces. Actually, pretty much everybody looks like that when they are in a virtual meeting. So just by you looking like you're engaged and happy to be there, that's going to elevate your presence. You want to just pull your lips back just at the corners to form just a slight smile on your face, or you can part your lips, show some teeth, and have a curious, pleasant look on your face like this. Makes a lot of difference rather than the typical virtual meeting expression, which is this. The third way you can elevate your presence is by speaking up early on. If you log on before the meeting starts, speak up, greet everybody, have a question for the group or something like that to start small talk. And after the meeting has started, if you have something of value to say, then say it early. It will establish your presence. And if not, simply type something in chat, like "it's good to see everybody here today." It will help establish your presence and your visibility without disrupting the meeting. The fourth way to establish presence is by looking into the camera when you are speaking. It seems so counterintuitive, especially if there's a lot of people in little squares all over the screen. It makes sense that you want to see their expression, so you're looking at them while you're speaking, but that's not what they see. They don't see you looking at them. And make it all about the others in the meeting. How are they perceiving you? And that leads to number 5, which is also related to eye contact. And that is, never look down in a virtual meeting unless it's just for a split second, unless you're needing to get something off your desk. But if I'm looking down, this is all you see. And so you want to make sure that you're not doing that, because it's either going to look like you're not paying attention or you're paying more attention to what's in front of you than what's going on at the meeting. So make sure, if you're looking off, to make sure that you're looking off to the sides rather than down. Now, before I get to number 6, I want to point out a video that I did on good body language for video calls. So be sure and check that out. I've got that above, as well as in a link in the description below. Now let's get to number 6. I used to dismiss this feature, and I'm starting to realize it's actually a pretty powerful feature on most video calls. And that is the raise hand icon. This is perfect to use in a meeting. I used to think, well, if I want to just say something, I will just say it out loud. But what happens in virtual meetings is so many times we're talking the same time somebody else starts to speak. We can't feel the energy of the room that somebody else is getting ready to speak. And so many times we talk over other people. Here's the great thing about the raise hand icon is it gives you the floor. Once you're called on to speak, then you know that you have the floor, that you're not going to be interrupting somebody else, and they're not going to interrupt you. Number 7 is when you do speak, make sure that you are speaking direct and to the point. There's something about these virtual meetings when, once again, we can't feel the energy in the room. What happens is we don't know when somebody else wants to interject something, or we can't really tell when other people are getting a little restless, and therefore we need to quit talking. The other day, I watched a recorded virtual meeting that I was on, and I went back and watched a point that I was making. And I went on making my point for 2 solid minutes when I really could have said what needed to be said in 30 seconds. So always err on the side of being too short rather than being too long. And this last one, I didn't even include it in the 7. However, it's almost a given, but it's worth a reminder. And that is, if you want to have elevated presence in a meeting, you need to turn your camera on. If you have enjoyed this video, I hope you'll press like, and I welcome any of your comments or questions. See you next time.